Welcome to Trandy Wisdom, where every story reveals a timeless truth. In today's journey, we explore a simple yet profound realization. True happiness lies within. It's not something to be chased in the world outside. It is already here, quietly waiting in each breath, each thought, each mindful moment. Let's begin the journey back to where happiness truly resides. 1. The endless search outside and the forgotten treasure within. There was once a man who, from the day he could walk, believed that happiness was a faraway treasure, hidden in distant lands. He heard stories of golden cities, enchanted gardens, and sacred mountains where joy lived untouched by sorrow. And so he set out on his journey, crossing deserts and oceans, seeking that one perfect place where suffering could not follow him. Every time he reached a new place, he would stay for a while, touch the walls, breathe the air, meet the people, and then feel the old emptiness rise again, like a familiar shadow. Then he would gather his things and continue his journey, convinced that happiness was still just a little further ahead. Most of us live this story. We spend our lives chasing something: success, admiration, love, wealth, experiences that promise to fill the hollowness we feel inside. We believe that if we just achieve enough, acquire enough, impress enough, or love enough, the gnawing hunger within us will finally be satisfied, like a thirsty man who drinks seawater. The more we consume, the more parched we be. The mind whispers, maybe the next achievement, the next relationship, the next new beginning will bring me peace. And so the cycle of seeking spins endlessly, pulling us further away from ourselves. We look for happiness in the future, in a place where conditions are finally right. When I get the perfect job, when I meet my soulmate, when I have enough money to retire, when I am healthy again, when my family understands me, then, surely then, I will be happy. But as life unfolds, we discover that circumstances are always shifting. The perfect moment never quite arrives. Even when good fortune smiles upon us, it carries the seeds of its own impermanence. Health declines, relationships change, success fades, the new becomes old. What once thrilled our hearts grows dull with familiarity. What once satisfied us leaves us restless once more. The Buddha saw this cycle clearly. He called it samsara, the endless wandering through birth and death, hope and disappointment, clinging and loss. He taught that no outer condition can offer lasting refuge because everything outside of us is impermanent, unstable, and empty of a separate self. Chasing happiness outside ourselves is like chasing the horizon. No matter how far we run, it always stays just out of reach. One of the most compassionate teachings the Buddha offered was this: true happiness is not something we find. It is something we remember. It is not hidden in some distant land or future event. It is already within us, waiting patiently, like a seed lying dormant in the soil, ready to sprout when we nourish it with mindfulness, understanding, and muscle. The first step to touching this happiness is to stop running. We must summon the courage to stop and breathe, and come home to ourselves. When we stop, we begin to see that the very search for happiness is what has kept it hidden from us. As long as we believe that something is missing, that we are incomplete, that we must achieve or attain to be whole, we turn away from the profound fullness that is already here. Imagine a lake, disturbed by constant winds. Its surface is agitated, its reflections broken and distorted. But if the wind stops, the lake becomes still, and it can reflect the vast sky above and the mountains all around with perfect clarity. Our mind is like that lake. Our endless chasing, desiring, regretting, and planning are like the winds that stir the surface. When we breathe mindfully and release our compulsions, the mind becomes calm. In that calmness, the treasures of peace, joy, and understanding, which have always been present, reveal themselves. When we practice stopping, we encounter a quiet power. We realize that we do not have to do anything extraordinary to touch true happiness. We do not have to be anyone other than who we are right now. Happiness is as close as our next breath, as near as our next mindful step, as intimate as the smile that arises naturally when we are truly present. True happiness is not an exotic flower that grows only in rare conditions. It is the simple, ordinary flower that blooms when we water it with awareness. This realization may seem too simple for a mind conditioned to seek complexity. We think that the great secrets of life must be hidden in complicated philosophies or grand adventures, but the most profound truths are always simple. They whisper to us in the rustling of leaves, in the laughter of a child, in the silence of a starry night. They are not hidden. We have only forgotten how to listen. One day, a young monk approached the Buddha and asked, "Master, what must I do to find happiness?" The Buddha smiled and said, "There is nothing you need to do. You only need to see. See that you are already enough. See that everything you seek outside is already within you." The monk did not understand immediately. It took him many years of practice, of breathing, walking, sitting, to begin to glimpse what the Buddha meant. But once he did, his joy was boundless and unshakable, like a mountain standing firm against storms. Coming home to ourselves requires trust. We must trust that the ground beneath us is already solid. Even if we have spent years doubting it, we must trust that the breath flowing in and out of our body is a miracle. Even if we have overlooked it 1,000 times, we must trust that each step we take can be a step of freedom. Even if we have walked countless miles in restlessness and fear, practicing mindfulness is not an escape from life. It is an embrace of life. It allows us to hold both joy and sorrow with tenderness. It teaches us that we do not have to eliminate suffering to find happiness. We only need to see deeply into the nature of suffering, to touch it with compassion. And in doing so, we discover that suffering and happiness are made of the same substance. They are not enemies. They are two sides of the same precious coin called life. When we stop chasing and start embracing, we experience a profound shift. We are no longer victims of circumstances, nor are we takers at the door of the future. We become sovereign over our own hearts. We realize that we can generate peace, love, and understanding in this very moment, regardless of what the world outside is offering us. This insight does not mean that we become passive or indifferent to the world. On the contrary, it frees us to engage with life more fully, more lovingly, more wisely, because we are no longer desperate to extract happiness from the world. We can meet others with true generosity because we are no longer imprisoned by our own cravings. We can respond to suffering with true compassion because we have found our home within, and we can move through the world without fear. The forgotten treasure within us is vast and inexhaustible. It is not diminished by sharing. The more we touch it, the more it grows. The more we offer it to others, the more it nourishes our own heart, like a candle lighting another candle. Happiness multiplies when it is given freely. Let us sit quietly for a moment and feel the breath entering and leaving the body. Let us feel the ground supporting us. Let us recognize that we are already alive, already bodying, already embraced by the miracle of existence. There is nothing missing. There is no need to run. Happiness is not over the next hill or beyond the next horizon. It is here. It is now. It has always been. The endless search can end today. The forgotten treasure can be remembered in this very breath. The way home is simple. It is the way of stopping, of looking deeply, of embracing life just as it is. It is the way of awakening the seed of happiness that has always been sleeping in the garden of our heart. And when we live from that place, we become a true refuge for ourselves and for others. Our presence alone becomes a lamp that lights the way, a gentle reminder that true happiness is within. 2. Understanding true happiness, a garden we cultivate from within. True happiness is not a faraway dream, not a reward to be earned, not a treasure we must hunt across the landscapes of the world. It is something much more intimate, something much closer to our breathing, to our walking, to our very being. Yet because it is so simple and near, we often overlook it, mistaking the noise of the world for the voice of the heart. We think happiness is something we must chase after, but happiness is not a prize at the end of a race. It is the silent companion walking with us all the while, all the way. In the teachings of the Buddha, and in the living experience of those who have truly practiced mindfulness, happiness is understood not as a condition to be acquired, but as a capacity to be cultivated, like a gardener tending to his plants. We learn that happiness grows when the right conditions are cared for with patience, tenderness, and wisdom. And just as weeds grow when the soil is neglected, suffering takes root in a mind that is distracted, grasping, or unaware. When we look deeply, we see that true happiness is made of very simple elements. It is the feeling of breathing fully and deeply, knowing that you are alive. It is the awareness of a warm cup of tea in your hands, the feeling of the breeze on your face, the sight of a flower opening to the morning sun. It is the quiet joy that arises when we recognize that we have more than enough in this moment, not because everything is perfect, but because we have eyes that can see, lungs that can breathe, a heart that can love. Every moment is filled with these small miracles, but we must learn to recognize them. This recognition is the first cultivation. It is called mindfulness. Without mindfulness, we are like a thirsty man standing in the rain, not realizing that he is already being bathed in water. Mindfulness allows us to wake up to the abundance that is already present. It is the light that illuminates the garden of our heart, helping us see the tender shoots of happiness that are already growing there. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that happiness comes from getting what we want. We set goals, make plans, and work tirelessly to achieve them, believing that the fulfillment of our desires will bring us lasting joy. But the nature of desire is such that it is never truly satisfied. No sooner have we obtained one thing than another craving arises, like a traveler who drinks salty water to quench his thirst. We find that our striving only deepens our hunger. Understanding this truth, we begin to see that true happiness is not born from satisfying endless desires, but from transforming our relationship to desire itself. Instead of letting desire drag us through a cycle of endless chasing, we can meet our desires with mindfulness and wisdom. We can ask ourselves, is this desire rooted in genuine well-being, or is it the restless grasping of the mind seeking escape? When we see clearly, we can smile at our desires, neither suppressing them nor being carried away by them. We can walk alongside them like old friends, understanding them deeply and letting them pass like clouds drifting across a wide, open sky. The second cultivation of happiness is learning to embrace suffering. Many people believe that to be happy, they must eliminate all suffering from their lives. They imagine that happiness means the absence of pain, sorrow, loss, and disappointment. But life, by its very nature, contains these elements. They are part of the human experience, as natural as the changing seasons. If we try to fight against suffering, we only add another layer of struggle and frustration. If we deny our pain, it festers in the dark. Mindfulness teaches us another way. Instead of running from suffering, we turn toward it with a compassionate heart. We recognize it. We breathe with it. We hold it gently, like a mother holding her crooning baby. In doing so, suffering transforms. It no longer overwhelms us. It becomes a teacher, showing us the depth of our own humanity and the vastness of our own capacity for compassion. The Buddha compared our pain to a second arrow. The first arrow is the inevitable pain that life sometimes brings. The second arrow is the suffering we create by resisting the pain, by resenting it, fearing it, or judging it. Through mindfulness, we avoid shooting the second arrow. We experience pain, yes, but we do not have to be imprisoned by it. We allow it to come and to go, like the rain that falls and then passes, nourishing the earth. Another cultivation of happiness is gratitude. In our daily lives, we often take for granted the countless blessings that surround us. We are so busy chasing what we think we lack that we fail to see the abundance already present. Every morning, we wake up with eyes that can see the sky, with a heart that can feel love, with feet that can walk upon the earth. These are not small gifts. They are wonders beyond price. When we practice gratitude, we water the seeds of happiness in our hearts. We learn to savor the ordinary moments, the sound of the birds, the taste of simple food, the touch of a loved one's hand. Gratitude does not deny the difficulties of life, but it places them in a wider context. It reminds us that even in the midst of challenges these days, there is so much to be thankful for. Gratitude transforms our perception, opening the door to joy. The cultivation of true happiness also involves letting go. Many of us carry heavy burdens, old resentments, regrets, fears, and attachments that no longer serve us. We cling to them because they are familiar, because we believe they define who we are. But these burdens weigh down our hearts, making it difficult for happiness to take root. Letting go is not a violent act. It is an act of deep kindness toward ourselves. It is the recognition that we deserve to be free. When we release the past, we are not forgetting or erasing it. We are simply choosing not to carry it like a heavy stone in our backpack. We honor what has happened. We learn from it, and then we lay it down so that we can walk more lightly into the present moment. Each time we let go, even a little, we make room for happiness to grow. We make space for new possibilities, new joys, new ways of being. Letting go is a gift we give ourselves, a gentle clearing of the ground where new life can bloom. Finally, cultivating true happiness means living deeply in each moment. It means drinking our tea with full attention, listening to our loved ones with our whole presence, walking with awareness of the ground beneath our feet. It means not postponing our happiness until some imagined future, but touching the miracle of life right here and now. When we live deeply, we discover that every moment can be a doorway to joy. The simple act of breathing, when done in mindfulness, becomes a song of gratitude. The simple act of walking, when done with awareness, becomes a dance of freedom. Every moment becomes a seed of happiness planted in the soil of our awareness. Understanding true happiness in this way, we realize that we are the gardeners of our own hearts. The seeds are already there, seeds of joy, love, peace, and understanding. It is up to us to tend them, to water them daily with mindfulness, to protect them from the weeds of forgetfulness and distraction, to nourish them with compassion and patience. The garden of our heart will not bloom overnight. It requires steady care, gentle attention, and a willingness to return again and again to the practice. But over time, we will see the fruits of our labor. We will feel a quiet, steadfast joy growing within us, not dependent on outer circumstances, not shaken by the winds of change. It will be a joy that is rooted in the very ground of our being. And as our own garden blooms, it will naturally offer its fragrance to the world, without striving, without preaching. Simply by our presence, we will become a source of peace and happiness for others. Our smile, our calmness, our compassion will be like fresh flowers in a parched land, offering beauty and hope wherever we go. True happiness is not something to be found at the end of a long search. It is something to be nurtured, moment by moment, breath by breath, choice by choice. It is the garden we cultivate within, and it is waiting for us to come home. 3. Coming home to ourselves. Living true happiness, moment by moment. Coming home to ourselves is the most beautiful journey we can take. And yet it does not require us to travel a single step. It is a journey inward, a turning back from the endless search outside to the quiet and spacious truth that has always been within. It is not a matter of achieving or arriving somewhere new. It is the simple act of recognizing that we already belong, that we are already whole. Coming home means reclaiming our true dwelling place, which is the present moment, the only place where life is truly happening. When we live disconnected from ourselves, we are like a tree uprooted from its soil, a bird separated from the sky. We wander through our days caught in plans, regrets, fears, and dreams, barely touching the life that is unfolding right before us. We live in our minds more than in our bodies, in our worries more than in our breathing, in our judgments more than in our open hearts. Even as we move, we are lost. Even as we breathe, we are absent. This absence from ourselves is the deepest form of exile. But the miracle is that the way home is never far. It is as close as the next breath. It is as immediate as the sensation of our feet touching the earth. It is as available as the simple act of pausing, smiling, and noticing that we are alive. In truth, we have never truly lost our way. We have only been distracted, like a child chasing butterflies who forgets the way back to the village. We need only to stop, look around, and remember, mindfulness is the key that unlocks the door of our true home. When we breathe mindfully, we invite ourselves back to the here and now. With each conscious in-breath, we say, I have arrived. With each out-breath, we say, I am His. We do not need to force ourselves to be different, better, or more spiritual. We do not need to fix anything. We simply need to be with ourselves, tenderly and honestly, without judgment. The breath becomes a bridge, reconnecting body and mind, earth and spirit, presence and peace. Living true happiness moment by moment means learning to dwell fully in each step, each word, each encounter. It means understanding that every moment, no matter how ordinary or small, contains the seeds of joy if we are fully there to experience it. When we drink a cup of tea, we are not merely consuming a beverage, we are touching the miracle of water, sun, soil, and life coming together in a single, fleeting form. When we listen to the laughter of a child, we are not merely hearing a sound, we are witnessing the pure expression of life's vitality and freedom. When we look into the eyes of a loved one, we are not merely seeing a face, we are meeting a soul in its full aliveness. True happiness is not the result of special moments set apart from daily life. It is woven into the fabric of daily life itself. Every act, when done with awareness and openness, becomes sacred. Washing the dishes, sweeping the floor, tying our shoes, answering the phone. All these can be acts of love, moments of awakening. If we are truly present, there is no need to seek a higher reality somewhere else. Reality is already here, shining quietly through every detail of existence. One of the greatest obstacles to living true happiness is our habit of postponing it. We tell ourselves that we will be happy later, when circumstances are better, when problems are solved, when we have achieved something more. But life does not wait. It is unfolding moment by moment, offering itself fully to us. Now, if we cannot touch happiness in this moment, we will not find it in some imagined future. The future is made of the same substance as the present. If we water the seeds of mindfulness, compassion, and joy today, the future will naturally flower from that same soil. Another obstacle is the belief that happiness must mean the absence of all difficulties. But life includes both sunshine and rain, gain and loss, pleasure and pain. True happiness is not dependent on the elimination of sorrow. It is the spaciousness that can embrace sorrow and still find peace. It is the resilience that can hold brokenness without despair. It is the gentle light that continues to shine even in the heart of darkness. To live happiness moment by moment is to cultivate equanimity, the capacity to remain centered and open-hearted in the face of changing circumstances. Equanimity does not mean indifference or coldness. It means loving the world deeply while not clinging to it. It means caring profoundly while accepting that we cannot control everything. It means offering our best effort while releasing our attachment to specific outcomes. In this way, we free ourselves from the tyranny of success and failure, approval and criticism, gain and loss. Coming home to ourselves also means recognizing that we are intimately connected to all life. We are not separate, isolated beings. The air we breathe, the food we eat, the warmth we feel, all arise through the generosity of countless beings and the vast web of existence. When we live mindfully, we touch this interbeing directly. We see that to love ourselves is to love the world, and to love the world is to love ourselves. There is no separation. Each time we smile with true awareness, we offer a gift to the world. Each time we listen deeply, we create a space where healing can happen. Each time we walk gently on the earth, we affirm our reverence for all forms of life. These small acts, seemingly insignificant, are the threads that weave a life of profound meaning and joy. To sustain this way of living, it is helpful to create simple practices that nourish mindfulness. We can begin the day with a few moments of conscious breathing, setting the intention to live with presence. We can pause before meals to express gratitude. We can walk slowly and feel each step as a kiss upon the earth. We can end the day by reflecting on one moment that brought us joy. However small, these practices are not rigid rules. They are invitations, doorways into the sacredness of ordinary life. Over time, living this way becomes natural. Mindfulness ceases to be something we practice only on a cushion or during special retreats. It becomes the way we meet each moment, the way we inhabit our lives. We no longer see happiness as something fragile, dependent on external conditions. We realize it is a wellspring within us, always available, always flowing, even in the midst of impermanence and uncertainty. Coming home to ourselves is an act of great courage and tenderness. It means daring to be present with whatever arises, joy and sorrow, hope and fear, strength and vulnerability. It means trusting that we have the capacity to hold it all with compassion. It means recognizing that we do not have to be perfect to be worthy of love. We are already enough, just as we are. In the quiet space of coming home, we discover a happiness that is not the product of effort or striving. It is the natural radiance of a heart at peace, a mind at rest, a soul in harmony with life. This happiness is not loud or boastful. It does not depend on applause or recognition. It is the gentle smile of a flower blooming unseen in a forest. It is the soft glow of a candle illuminating a small, humble room. It is the silent joy of simply being. As we live this way, we become a true refuge for ourselves and for others. Our presence becomes a healing balm in a wounded world. Our compassion becomes a river, nourishing thirsty hearts. Our peace becomes a beacon guiding others home. In this way, the happiness we cultivate within does not remain confined to us. It ripples outward, touching lives we may never know, planting seeds of mindfulness, love, and freedom in places we may never see. The journey of coming home to ourselves is the journey of a lifetime, but it is also the journey of a single moment. Each breath is an opportunity. Each step is a new beginning. Each smile is a returning, And so we walk, we breathe, we live, not as wanderers lost in dreams, but as beings fully awake to the miracle of now. Coming home is not a destination. It is a way of being. It is the quiet, steady realization that we are already where we need to be. It is the tender, joyful commitment to live each moment as a precious gift, to embrace ourselves and the world with an open, loving heart. In the end, true happiness is not something we find. It is something we live, moment by moment, breath by breath, smile by smile. True happiness was never something we had to chase or win. It has always been quietly alive within us, waiting for us to stop, to breathe, to come home. Thank you for walking this journey with Trandy Wisdom. May you remember, in every moment, that true happiness lies within, as close as your next breath, as near as the beating of your heart. Until we meet again, stay grounded, stay present, and stay beautifully awake.